live. I never know when it goes live. All right, I think we're live, guys. Let me know in the chat if we're live out here, guys. New Poker Live podcast. We're back in the house right now. We got a big week coming up. We actually have 4 in studio podcasts in a row today. We got my man sitting here to the left right now. Tomorrow, we got Fedor Hole is going to be posted on the channel. Wednesday, we got my man Scott Siever is going to come by and make his debut on the podcast. I know, yeah, Scott's going by. I must be out of line. I know. And next Monday, we got Gus Hansen's going to be in the house.
Oh, shit. Gus.
Although technically, we recorded that one when he was battling in Bobby's room this summer.
Right.
It's
like Dusty.
It's like the line. Oh,
yeah.
He was getting after it for sure. Next Wednesday, we got my man Jason Somerville going to be back on the podcast. And I'm hoping to get Jean-Robert Belland for the week after that, so we'll see. I know, yeah, it's gonna be a fun lineup. This Thursday, I got a Phil Ivey investigation video coming out about the Baccarat case he's got, and then Friday a new video. Saturday another fight investigation, and we're getting after it, man. We got a lot of content to do. Me and Doug had that prop bet. I have to jump out of a plane if I don't do a bunch of other videos, so I'm gonna put out the videos. That's it, guys. Joining me today on the podcast is a young man who, listen, man, I don't know. I feel like this guy right now, very, very, very beloved member of the poker community, debatably one of the top poker commentators in the industry right now.
All right, Joey, let's just,
Debatably one of the best poker players in the world right now when it comes to the cash games.
Baby, there it is.
When it comes to the tournaments. The guy doesn't even play fucking much no limiter right now. He still just casually shows up and
sometimes I just show up and just
takes him down, you know? I mean, listen, man, the guy, I feel like the guy does it all. A guy I really enjoy talking with, man. Happy to have him back on the podcast. Take some time out of his golfing days, of dealing with the little baby. And
golfing first. Yeah, nice. Real nice.
We got my man Nick in the house. What's up, Nick?
What's up, Joey?
Welcome back, brother. Nice to see you, man.
Thanks. Good to see you.
What have you been doing yourself, man? Golfing, the young child you got in your life now, a new addition to the Schulman family.
9 months, yep.
What are you playing a lot of poker? What have you been doing?
Not too much poker right now. I always kind of take it easy in September, but been kind of doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you feel like these in-person intros would be different than if I was giving you an intro like that over a computer? Because it's what I'm like saying. Because this is very rare. You show up
uncomfortable. Yeah. In this bedroom, it's just like
it's a second. The bed's only here because we have guests sometimes that come by. Otherwise, they gotta sleep in my bed with me in the other room. It's
okay. This is the second room. Is this the bedroom or the office?
Second bedroom.
It's the office with the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
right
office.
there though. There's his lady here. Yeah.
I know.
It's
like we got to take that out though. We have guests.
No, I like it.
The guests come by sometimes. So we have this crash in there. We don't want to stick on the fucking couch
I'm just saying.
out there.
I don't know. Thank you. Here we go. The world's most boring interview is back. Yeah.
Kid, let's kind of get into it, man. So I think one big thing a lot of people were been interested about lately. We did not smoke for this. A big thing people have been interested about has to do with sort of what took place this past summer with commentary situation, right? Because you've been part of our commentary life now these past couple years. You've been doing more events, and before it was kind of the super high rollable with Ali, and then you started doing more and more, and now you started doing a little bit of the ESPN stuff as well too. But then something happened where, for whatever reason, you didn't get to do it anymore, and you got a little upset about it. I know something on Twitter triggered you. I mean, listen, I'm all about getting triggered from Twitter comments myself, so it certainly makes sense. But yeah, sort of what exactly took place there? Because we chatted about it a little bit after it happened, but yeah, I don't exactly know what went down with that situation, man.
Not too much went down. I think I just kind of it kind of overwhelms me a little bit sometimes, like the content side of things. It was a miscommunication, apparently, where like I thought I was just doing the event to its completion in some capacity outside of the final table. And then I left day 4 and I was like, all right, guys, see you tomorrow. And they were like, no, you're not coming back. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not coming back? Are you crazy? But like, it's just like, I don't know what to say. I got like emotional. I get like psychotic a little bit sometimes. Like I'm being, and then this dude was saying shit to me on Twitter. I got paranoid. I was thinking that they like pulled me for some, like the break desk sometimes on ESPN, it's different. It's live. Like sometimes they have little comments about like kind of the things you sort of don't want to say, but nothing outside of the realm of just like a normal production, I think. Or it's just, it's that whole world is a little bit, I don't know. And then I just got like sensitive that I just wasn't slated to be on the schedule, and that's okay. I wasn't trying to be like, how could you? I thought I got paranoid that they pulled me. And then a bunch of people I really trust were like, that's just not the case. I didn't get pulled. Right. I was just not slated to to do it in completion, and it slipped through the cracks to tell me, because you should tell the person in that position. I don't know if I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm good. That dude on Twitter, me and him are good. You know.
Yeah, so you guys, you made up.
I made up with that guy.
Okay.
He's all right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think kind of that situation was, it was very interesting just what took place, because after that happens, then you have the poker community comes out and incredibly supportive.
Yeah.
And I guess from your situation, right, how does that make you feel when you see many of your peers coming to say, hey, like, we want to see Nick, man. Nick is doing this at a super high level. The way he articulates things is on a different level.
I don't know. It makes me kind of uncomfortable. I appreciate it, but I try not to think about it. I don't know what to say. I really, really appreciate it, and I do. I give it my all. But there's a lot of different voices. The community, it's like this vast. Like, I don't even know what the community kind of means. I'm thankful for my time in the booth, and I've made some. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I appreciate it, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't want to like start like a fucking thing, me and the fucking army are coming and I'm getting in there and you're going to let me in there every time. It's like, I'm not looking to do that. I just was like in my feelings and like, I don't know, but like, I couldn't help but notice, it's touching for me and I appreciate the support. What can I, obviously,
Yeah, I think it is incredibly uncomfortable sometimes when you get that sort of, those words are said, even though they feel good. And people talk about my podcast or talk to me, and it makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. I'm kind of envious of people who, when people say that to them, like, it kind of makes them feel differently. It makes them feel happy in some ways, and I think it does make me feel happy, of course. But this is something like I talk about with my friends. Is just, they ask me, how does it feel when people like say these things, nice things about you? I'm just like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know where that comes from. And I think for yourself, when you say it makes you feel that way, why do you think it makes you feel uncomfortable?
I don't know. I mean, firstly, I don't want to compete with other commentators or anybody really. Like, poker is competitive enough, so it's just kind of like people are real vicious with their like, I mean, people are very opinionated out there, and even if it's like sometimes it's just like a little bit like, we can all like kind of like have our lane, whatever. And like, I didn't set out to get in the content kind of side of things. I was just playing, but then when I got the job, I started really thinking about it, and it's just sort of like surreal for me that I'm here. That whole thing was just like, I don't know. I mean, there aren't so many poker tournaments a year that really carry that like real weight and stuff, and the way poker's portrayed as a sport, or not, or just, I don't know really the way poker's portrayed, but to be a part of events that like are truly memorable events kind of does mean something to me. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Go fuck yourself. I don't know. Yeah. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think a lot of people, well, maybe not people now, as they start off doing content with the intention of getting it well known. I think,
and good for them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's just,
I think when I started, I never even thought anything like that would ever happen. I never thought it'd be like, we're discussing the major issue. I just wanted to talk about like the big girl grind and getting out of line and playing a lot of hands
100%,
and pop limit Omaha, kind of thing like that.
These are free conversations. Your content's free. It's like, it's a nice thing. You get people on, you have conversations, you give it, I mean, take it or leave it kind of type thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's okay if you're trying to do content sort of for a living or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, for me, it's weird.
Yeah, I think one thing you mentioned about was the idea of the competitive angle a lot of people put on everyone, right? And especially with the commentators, they're like, oh, Norman Chad's the best. Oh,
Norman
Tuck's the
Chad's
best.
a legend.
Right, and
people
say, like, seem to think because you might show admiration or praise for one person that you're saying, these other people fucking suck. When in reality, I don't see it that way, but I feel like that's how some people kind of pit it. They go, well, if it's not Nick, we don't want to see anyone else. When I think there's a lot of really great commentators that are in poker right now, and I think there's people that do a great job that I enjoy listening to. But you get someone like Daniel Negreanu talking about, I mute everybody if they're not, like, I think, what did he say? Something like, I mute everyone.
Daniel, why would you say some shit like that?
It's
like it's such a just like, and also like, you wouldn't want. Nobody's trying to monopolize the poker content. That's just not the way like it should go. That's a weird system. There's a million different ideas, ways to do it, ways to skin a cat. Like, just. It's a tough conversation, kind of. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's like kind of like a cold thing to say.
I I was taking a bow. I was like, oh, mute them like them.
It's
Okay.
homies with like the commentators too. Like, what are you doing?
I was like, I never considered muting the commentator. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
But if you want, I mean, do whatever you want when you watch, and like whoever you want. Yeah, of course.
So I guess when you think about commentating, and what do you think makes you good at commentating? What do you think you do, or the way that you approach a hand that is different than how other people might approach it and talk about it?
I mean, I love No Limit genuinely, and I've thought about No Limit a lot. I've played a lot, and I'm serious about poker, so there's that angle. And then just the commentating of a sport or of something in general, I've given a fair amount of thought to, so I like to think that it's seeped in kind of the way I do it and the cadence and the sort of rhythm to it. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing sight of really wanting to kind of just say what's happening. And then the kind of rapport or whatever of it, it's just a natural part. I got to do it a way that I can kind of live with it. My friends are fucking watching it. Like, I got to just do it like kind of like, I don't know, but when it's an event that really carries water, it's I get a little sentimental about it, because we're in a weird sort of transitional era of poker. It's where it's very like digitized and different and whatever, and certain events still seems like the people kind of come together in a certain capacity. It's very saturated, diluted. There's events left and right. It's not the way that it used to be. But at the end of the day, it's hard not to romanticize the best in the world at anything. It's like, I like those events, and then something like the main is just a spectacle of the utmost, and there's always pros in there, like deep, like they might do it, so it's like, I care about poker. I mean, I really do. It's what I do. I want it to mean something because it's what I do. But I don't know.
Do you feel like this is a unique viewpoint you have about poker? Do you feel like other people and other it's players or commentators see it this way? Because I think this is a big reason why I still do content, is because that's exactly how I see poker, is that I have this romantic vision of what the industry is and what the community is and what the game's given me and what the game is in general to so many people around the world, that I love it so much. I think there's really nothing like it that you can do in terms of this competitiveness against yourself and against other people at any age, and you can do it all around the world, and you're able to make your own schedule, go at your own speed. You can make 20,000 and make a living. You can make $1 million and make a living. I just really think there's absolutely nothing like it. But I don't really feel like that view is shared by many people out there for whatever reason. And I guess to me it's kind of disappointing sometimes when I see that, because I fucking love it, right? Like, it's awesome. I just love the game. I love watching it. I love talking about it. I love thinking about it. And I feel like in a way that used to be the case for many people, and now it's not the case anymore.
It's almost like we have to, like, people who love poker almost have to apologize for it, or like explain that when it's like, there's no sanctioning kind of like body of poker. It's a different kind of sport. Most sports help kids in some capacity. Like, there's youth teams and leagues and stuff like that. Poker's really like, even chess, which is a mental sport. I mean, it's great for kids. Poker, it's different. I mean, it's not, for starters, you don't really have kids. You don't have kid fans. You kind of just, and they're not really playing at like 6 or 7. So it's like this weird, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I love poker because it's what I kind of do, and I like dove hard into it, and I sort of escaped into it for a long time, and I'm thankful for. I kind of know what I do and know who I am. I might want to do other things, but it's like, I'm cool sitting at that card table, but the commentating side of things, or the content side of things, where you try to sort of mold the way it's viewed, it's very hard to see how good they are. Most sports, you see kind of how good they are. So right away you have that whole thing, like, where the elite are kind of these like unsung heroes. It's just like pretentious to talk about them, and most people don't care. They just don't. But then you have the other side of poker where it's like, it's gambling, trying to take people's money. Like, what are we trying to do? It's a little bit savage mode out there. It's like, it's not so I don't know. But big poker tournaments are pure, and like, I mean, I love the game, but there's a whole business of it aside from just the playing of the game. It's a little freaky sometimes when you really just like think about it. For me, like, I don't know.
Which part of it do you think is that?
the generating of the way to kind of produce the content, show the content, and then there's the whole thing. You want to sell it in a way where where the branding has some pop. You feel some like whatever
connection.
But
or
also
like
the poker, it's just a very all over the place kind of sport. So I feel like there's like little micro communities of people that. But then there's millions of players around the world,
right?
Like literally, and that's like you were just saying that it's a global kind of game where like anybody could play, and yeah, it's dope. But it's like, where do you play? Are the games private at your casino now? Like, can you play online where you live? Like, is it tournaments? I don't know. So many different angles.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it about the micro communities because you have the Twitch streamer has their community, the vlogger have a community. The Doug Polk has community, the forums have their each community, each website has a community,
right?
And then the high stakes guys have theirs. So it's like I feel like we haven't done necessarily a great job of putting all of these little micro communities together under. And I think the World Series Poker Main Event does a great job of that, and that brings all the communities together and they all watch it. I think something like Super High Roller Bowl in the past has done that very well too, where they come around. We have the top players in the world. We have some businessmen mixed in there who are very interesting personalities. We have some great commentating being done in a very high level production in a beautiful fucking place with just this prestige. And they built an event in a way, in a time when there's so many events, and they built it into something really special.
Yeah, sometimes certain ones just kind of like, and that's good. It's a nice thing. Yeah, it's marketing, but it's also like it organically seeps in, sometimes like certain events the main event, it's got incredible history and it legitimately is the biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah, I think I don't know why my camera focuses. Maybe we got a camera pro out there who can let me know why I guess why the hell does my camera focus on this? I got to get a new camera. That's the next upgrade. We're taking our job here a little more serious, Nick. I've never taken this completely serious for a couple different reasons. Mainly probably because like one, I don't really know what the hell to do, and two, it's kind of terrifying to think about. Okay, what if you try these things and then things don't do well? Yeah. So we're upgrading the setup in here, the studio. We're getting rid of it. We're gonna make it more like
to put the bet on blast. It's very nice.
No,
Guests, you're very nice. Everything's good. Yeah.
Joey has a place to sit over there. She's in the lab moderating things over there, kind of making things happen over here. So, but yeah, guys, if you are tuning in live, thank you very much, man. It's always great, to kind of have people watch live and to see the interaction, the comments, stuff like that. Sometimes, obviously we get comments that are out of line, but for the most part, I feel like the community we kind of have here.
Poker got me out the drug game, thank God. All right, Dean.
Did it?
Boy, yeah.
Did it really?
I don't know what's better though necessarily, but no, I'm kidding. Good for you, Dean.
You actually mentioned something interesting, which is that you felt like poker was an escape for you. So when you say it was an escape, meaning an escape from you thinking about your life, or you thinking about what you're going through, or sort of how do you
Sure, all of that. Yeah. Like anybody who's ever dove into something and it's just it starts to kind of make sense. It's where you want to be. I kind of go sort of hard at things when I get into them, I guess, in a way, but like for me, I don't know. Like I've played poker for so long, and you don't have to speak or communicate really with it's the game. It's fun to play a game that you get really into. I just got deep into it, and I love to kind of play and to compete in tournaments and whatever, mixed games. Like yeah,
I think that's what poker does for a lot of people, is that it gives you freedom of your life.
Fun to play.
Very fun to play as well too. You can make a living at it.
Sure.
You get to be around people, which some people like, some people don't like. So I think there's a lot of aspects that people really enjoy. And people that don't want to leave the fucking house, they can play online poker. So it's kind of this...
plenty of reasons to play.
I feel like the vibe has been this negative thing around poker. Like, oh, it's this, it's dying, it's that, it's this.
It is what it is.
Right. I don't really see it that way, but I feel like it's...
you could argue computing has interfered, certainly, with the purity of the, like, we're all out there guessing and hoping to just make it rain at the no. Maybe I'll be the main event champ. Maybe I'll, be amazed. Like, we've sobered up a little now. Some very bright people have taken a look at some stuff and switched things around a little, but still, the game remains, of course, for a long time. I mean, it's a very deep game, very vast game, plenty of reasons to play. Big world, a lot of places to play.
Yeah. What are your kind of, I think when you think about your own life with poker right now, how do you think about the idea of goal setting, or the idea of something that you want to accomplish, the idea of playing? Because at this point in time, you've accomplished a lot. You've done well in the cash games, you've done well in tournaments. So where does the desire to kind of keep sticking around versus maybe venture outside and pursue other things?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really set tangible goals like that, but for me, it's more part of, I know the process kind of becomes a way of life that I like to kind of live, I guess. A big part of my poker playing career is playing mixed games in Bobby's room, and I'm very like lucky. Like, I can't really pretend that I'm out there on the grind like a lot of people. You know, I'm blessed. It's like I get to play this huge stakes game and just kind of sit around waiting to play for it. I got my money sorted out, and I sit around kind of waiting to play that game is a lot of what I do. And there's some animals in there kind of doing their thing, and it's you know, I like to compete with those guys and sort of think about those kinds of situations a fair amount is what I do. And I've been getting the tournament itch lately, but I never seem to been getting the itch though. I always have the no limit itch that I'm like looking to scratch. I just want to get out there and play. I just do. I like playing no limit tournaments. So we'll see.
Why don't you so we kind of brushed past that real quick, and I would assume everyone knows what you're talking about. So when you say that you are now in a position where you get to sit around, you get to wait for the games, you're playing in Bobby's room, your money's sorted, there's killers in there. Let's break down a little bit what that means for people, because I don't think people have actually, you know, they might hear that, but you know, what does that mean and why is it that way? So when you say that you get to sit around and wait for games, what exactly you think that, like, what does that mean then?
Being semi-facetious, I guess, when I say that, but like a lot of what I do is I play high stakes games, you know what I mean? And like I'm not traveling around or grinding that much day to day. I am sometimes for a few weeks at a time or a month at a time, but you know, like I don't know. That's just kind of what it is at this point. Like, if just
so essentially, Bobby's Room's games. What stakes are they playing in there when you kind of get in the mix?
4,000 mixed games, 15-3 to 4-8 lately. Sometimes it's insane.
So it's like a mix of big bet games and mixed games, or
that's
is it
right.
okay?
Mix of limit games and big bet games.
And then the big bet games for Potman Omaha and Great Game and for No Limit Hold'em, are those capped at the 40 big blinds?
It depends on who's playing.
Okay.
Sometimes it is something like that. Other times it's like 150 big blinds, deep, a very deep stack version.
Okay, when you play in a game like that, when there's all these other mixed games, and you have a big bet game where it's 150 big blind cap, and when you lose that pot, do you feel like that you're kind of aware of, okay, this person, if they take a big beat here, if they're going to avoid spots because it'll put them on tilt, and then they'll play worse in these games? So are you aware of these dynamics of how it might impact players, or do you feel like people in that game their mental game's pretty strong, and they kind of, that doesn't necessarily happen to them? Those big bet games kind of impacting the way other games might play, or their overall morale or mood moving forward in the session.
Everybody's kind of considering that with everybody else to an extent, and sometimes it's hard to measure exactly, you know, but I mean, most of the time the people in there are accustomed to the stakes.
Yeah. So they don't let it get around too much. I think it's definitely something you see in the lower stakes games.
Ask Scotty on Wednesday.
I'm definitely going to ask.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Scott.
I derail sometimes, and it's, you know, I have become derailed slightly, but it's more like emotional. You know, it's tough in there, man. It's a lot. Listen, you know, there's some real swings in there, and it's like it's a weird thing. It's, you know, I mean, people are used to it, and it's like that in any stakes really a lot of the time. I mean, whatever stakes you're playing, like, you know.
It's all pretty relative, right? I mean, you're playing 2,000, 4,000, somebody's playing 1-2, they have $600. You know,
but I don't look at it, but I get it though.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Like I really do. It's just, it just is what it is. Like, but I really like, I don't look. You know, I've played those stakes for
long time,
thousands of hours. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been playing? When did you start playing? Get to officially those stakes, playing the Bobby's Room games?
When I was 21. I was playing mixed games in New York and AC, and I kind of just like was playing a lot of limit games. I was playing online, and I just How
old are you now?
35.
Wow.
Yeah, getting there. I know. 35, guys. That's me.
We're getting old here, man. 34, 35.
34, 35.
I see people commenting on the yellow hoodie in the chat. Listen, guys, I really wanted to. I haven't got to wear this thing in a while. Okay, I just wanted to wear the yellow hoodie.
Yeah.
I see people out there projecting their insecurities in the chat right now. Thank you very much for your opinions.
Chat sometimes can get like, I mean, Yeah.
I know you guys are feeling great in
Settle
your
down.
oversized gray
free.
shirts.
If you don't
I know.
like, yeah,
Seriously.
if you don't like his hoodie, then
That's
you know,
fine.
get
You
out
know,
of here. It's
it's okay.
alright.
Listen, it's good. Exactly. It's okay.
You
Feel
don't
like
like
the
it,
need.
so
I'm like
what?
that
Who are
hoodie.
you?
What's up with this hoodie? You know, that's like, all right, calm down, guys.
But
Like,
yeah, but they got
listen. Send me photos of your. Send me photos of you. I'll
Yeah,
comment on
yeah,
your
yeah.
outfits, okay? And we'll go back and forth on it, okay? Like, I don't know. I guess the one thing I found interesting, right, kind of going back to that, we talked about at the beginning, was dealing with people who maybe say things that you might not agree with, or that might rub you the wrong way, or because you put yourself out there, you put your thoughts out there, you put your knowledge out there, and not everyone's gonna like it, right? And they're gonna let you know that they don't like it now because that ease of access is right in front of you.
It's true.
So how do you kind of think about that, and how do you deal with that stuff?
I mean, it doesn't usually faze me too much. One thing I get a lot is that I'm real boring. Like, people are like, this guy's so boring. I just want to fucking die. I want to kill myself. Like, he's just so monotone. I get, like, I'm falling asleep with this guy. Like, I see sometimes people send me shit like that. I don't really care about that stuff. But, there's some truth to that. I mean, everybody's got an opinion. It's weird. The internet is just a weird place, you know, like, and just in general, like, okay, but I get hired to do the job and then I'm out of there. So it's like, I don't know. One thing that does get to me, that struck a chord when, and will just kind of rile me up, is when people like tell you how the game should be sold, or how you should portray poker or act like there's some, like, who exactly benefits from it. Like, I just need to make sure, like, the stuff I'm saying is, like, fairly true. I do believe that it should be, like, sold, but, like, the recruitment of players, or, like, trying to, like, soften it, I just don't know. And sometimes when they tell you how you should like feel about it or whatever, that one trips me out a little bit, if that makes sense.
Can you expand on that a little bit more so I can get a better understanding of what you mean?
I don't even know what I mean, so it's hard for me to. I have no idea what I have to
These
say.
are one of my favorite things to ask people, by the way. I was like, so yeah. I vaguely can understand, and I can get to a point where I feel like I can make a pretty good guess on what you mean, but I like getting people to expand further on certain things.
I guess just the idea of being a part of poker productions in general. Sometimes, just that side of it, like, I don't know. It's the high level sort of events make it easier for me because it's kind of pure. They buy in.
Right.
They're willing to be kind of like scrutinized, so to speak. And if somebody is of a lesser capacity than, say, a Steven Chidwick, it's just massive props, respect. You're in there, you're fighting. Let's see what the cards are doing. These are some very capable people outside of poker. The whole, like, poker players love to be like, try to, like,
I feel great now.
To like boost up the recreate, or not want to, like, when it's the truth. It's like some of these people are like, they're like living their lives, like, obviously some kid who's like totally all about poker is like deeper in it, but I don't know, something like that where, like, you then just say what's happening is it's an easier format for me than, like, the way, like, the sense of, like, community, like, it's a business, like, the portrayal of it is a business kind of, like, there's people trying to make money off just showing it and selling it, and it's just weird for me, I guess.
So it sounds like you're saying the way that people advise you to treat the recreational players and maybe the plays that they make.
Comments on, like, well, yeah, like, no, like, just like, one thing about, I just feel uncomfortable with the idea of, I don't want to ever be like selling poker to anybody, I guess. So when people say this is how you should portray this event, or this is how, that's where I, like, reach a crossroads of, like,
where you want to do it yourself, or you have this idea in your mind, you want to be true to yourself, and
somewhat in a way, I guess. But I really don't know where I was going with any of that.
I mean, I think I kind of get what you're saying, because you mentioned something like that in the World Series poker video, for example, where you didn't want to put on a dance, right? You didn't want to.
I don't want to dance around. Exactly.
Right. You didn't want to have people tell you what to do and say what to do and sort of tell you how to sell it in a certain way like that.
Not me, Joey. Because I don't know. But yeah, no.
I think this comes from when you're an entrepreneur or when you're a poker player, you desire that freedom and control of your own life.
Maybe.
And I think when you're working with people and they tell you things that you don't believe in, and you're in a position to say, well, I don't believe in that. I don't want to say it. I don't want to do it.
A little bit, yeah.
It kind of can come from that, I think.
Maybe. I wrestle with why I'm like that myself. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe why you're like that is what makes you good at poker too, though, is that you can you can control yourself and control your situation, and you can do what you believe in, and you've worked hard to get these beliefs, and you put in many hours to get to this point in
maybe
time.
I'm just an asshole, though. Maybe
could be, right?
Yeah, no,
I look at the positives.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, great. Everyone's got
yeah.
the great side to them. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find that, but maybe that could be the case too, right? Certainly
Yeah.
might be. You think so? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, it's tough. We think about why we're like good at things and how to get better and stuff, but it's like personal, I guess. Like I don't, I say I don't know sometimes, but like maybe I have some ideas, but it's hard to say.
I mean, this is common amongst high stakes players, is that they have a very, 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 very high level of self belief in themselves, and a lot of self confidence about the things that they feel like they're smart about too. And I think a lot of players struggle with the balance of not wanting to sound like an asshole and also wanting to be truthful about how they actually feel about
and
themselves.
And that's what's so nice about playing, because you get to let that shit do the talking. Like obviously I like to get out there and compete and like, draw a line in the sand, and I like to, it's tournaments are real pure. You buy in and you get to work, but it's scrap. Like I'm right here. They know, the poker world already knows, like I've played, and that's like kind of all I really thought. Like I like to play and let other people kind of like, I don't know. And then I started commentating out of nowhere. And now I'm talking to you for these guys. Like, it's all just weird to me. I don't know what to say, kind of. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just I don't know. It's like, I don't.
Takes some getting used to, huh?
Yeah, it does. I'll never get used to this. Like, it's because I don't, a lot of different people out there doing what they're doing, man. I'm just looking to, like, you know what I mean?
Kind of be a part. You have a growing poker to you sound something that you want to be a part of?
Growing it?
Yeah, sort of getting it out there at all? No?
No. I don't want that blood on my hands, man. I don't want to, like, be recruiting players. You want to play, come play, but I'm never going to, at least, and that's something that I do think about, and it's probably overly, like, sensitive, or, like, I don't even know, because, like, maybe I'm taking my impact on it too seriously, like, so I don't really think there's so many different avenues. I appreciate poker very much, and, like, everybody who's signed up for it, I see these dudes every World Series or at different stops or Bobby's room. Like, we're all like, we're all kind of in it together. And I really appreciate that. I love just the game. But growing it, I have mixed feelings about that, because I'm not anti-poker. I'm pro, like, free, things just moving around the way they should be. I just don't want any control over, like, that's not an ambition of mine to grow the game. Okay. Is what I'm saying.
That makes sense, yeah.
I'm not trying to de-grow it. I'm just, I get hired to do a job, try to do a good job, and then just sort of like play and live my life, I guess.
Yeah, something I think about a lot, the idea of growing poker and wanting to get more people to play. Can't say it's a big goal of mine, really, because there's a lot of, unless you go into the wrong situation and the wrong surroundings, like, you're going to have no chance in a lot of times.
You cover, like, relevant shit that's happening in the poker world. It's a great thing for fans of poker. I love people that are fans of poker, or people that play and also just are intrigued by other players and the comings and goings of the community. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I personally enjoy. I like making content for other people who also love the game.
Of course.
And who are passionate about the game.
And I'm one of those people. I love the game. But, like, when you're on the side of, like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's yeah.
Got a question here from Wushu84. He says, ask him about the battles in Bobby's room. How do they keep the games fresh? Great question. And how do they stop solvers from ruining the games?
Well, we got Ike Haxton in there now, so we haven't stopped.
Hollywood Haxton got in there.
He ruined all the games.
Kicked him out yet, or what? No?
Because there's so many different scenarios, we're starting to realize the solvers are a really unique tool to expand one's horizon, and they're great. Game theory is a real thing. A lot of these, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, but yet the execution of these ideas is very subtle, or not even subtle necessarily, but there's a lot going on at that poker table. Is it heads up pot, 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways, stud, Omaha? I mean, the games are fresh. They're not so easy to play, and there's just differing perspectives on what's right or how to approach a spot. A lot of spots will be played similarly, but they haven't ruined the game just the same way the solvers haven't ruined the game in chess, when this is like a very pure, solvers way better than humans, but it's still very rich and beautiful when they get together, the humans, and they scrap for the world championship or something like that. they play human versus human.
Yeah, I think a lot of people out there in the poker world right now, there's been much of the solver discussion and how threatening is it into the games out there. And I think in an online perspective, when people are using the real-time assistance, it's a different story. But in a live arena where you have to then study every situation, you have to be inputting the right variables, which a lot of people just don't understand what a solver does, how it works out, how accurate
some of
it is.
These guys that have like screen scraped the boards and they got like a real deal. What are you? Just a weasel. You're a weasel. That shit is just whatever. But then it's like, it's like it's just all fucked up because it's a big, So yeah, that's a problem and no limit and for sure. But the execution on the live side of things, there's still a lot going on, of course. And
especially with tournaments as well, with the differing stack sizes as well, which 100%. Is going to change. So it's
kind of like tournament theory things that you can't just input into a solver. Or I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's you realize like there's a lot more to it than that. The game lives, of course.
Exactly, yeah. And especially when you mentioned playing Bobby's Room and you're playing different mixed games, you're playing 8 to 10 games, and games are changing rapidly, and
mixed games are cool like that. Yeah. It's really cool. We play 11 games, 13 games. I mean, it's interesting. It's all of these games are a little mini world in and of themselves. So it's like so many different spots.
What's your favorite game right now you're playing?
That's always a challenging question. I don't have a favorite.
The great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Is that what it is?
No, but I've been liking Pot Limit Omaha a little bit more lately. I've kind of finally found a little rhythm with that game where it's always been, I don't know. I like all the games.
What do you think about Pot Limit Omaha is the thing that makes you the most uncomfortable? A part of your game that you feel like might need the most work?
It just simply demands you take these like kind of high variance, annoying sort of spots, and where it gets very murky, where you're gambling too much or where you're under investing yourself,
right, and
so to speak. And it's kind of I've grappled with how to play it well for a long time. It's one of these games like I've sort of never known exactly where I stand in that game for a long time, whereas in a lot of the other games I feel quite well versed, I guess, but I feel like I've gotten a little bit better lately. And I'm, so every hand is about every PLO hand. I'm coming for everybody. I don't know if I made myself clear on that.
So yeah, I mean, I guess
every hand, every game, I'm coming.
It sounds like what you're saying is just there's a lot of these 3-bet and 4-bet spots where they sort of play themselves on the surface. Right. On the surface, you might say, okay, it appears that this is what it should be, but is there a way to avoid getting into that spot in the first place? 1, and 2, once I'm in that spot, is there then a differing approach I can then take to be in that spot? And those are, I think, important questions when people talk about PLO has a lot of variance. I would agree on the surface, but I do think there are a lot of different things that you can kind of do that might not be what is standard or what other people do,
100%.
But that help you reduce that variance and actually bring your edge up in a lot of different situations. And it just allows you to sort of look at the game and approach the idea of the game in a different way that make your strategy better and make your strategy pretty strong. Yeah. So I think that's sort of things that just take time. And I think a common situation, right, is like you get all in bottom 2 in a weak flush draw. Like a weaker player might do that. And then they're against a tighter player who has the top of the range when they get all in, and they have that top pair with 3 overs and then a flush draw. And you do that a few times, and you say, okay, well, I better stop getting all in against this type of player right there.
Right.
And then you build up from there, and that's a very easy scenario that you have to get better at. Bottom set on a draw heavy board.
We're talking about pretty deep stacked PLO, right? Uncapped PLO is kind of the scenario you're referring. Because in my game sometimes like bottom 2 on a flush draw, you can't overthink it too much. You got Seaver in there with anything. Like
that's obviously not the type player, right?
Right, so when you're deep, sure, you're just dead with certain hands. They look somewhat appealing. You're just dead. You're dead if they get it in. They don't even have top set. Backups. Always backups, baby.
We used to say the challenge of deep stack PLO is to never get set over set because it's like,
I know.
It can be, man. I mean, that's what makes PLO so fun to me is that you turn these bottom sets and middle sets and top sets into bluffs and situations. And
so much you could do. That's a great game. Yeah. Pot Limit Omaha is a great game.
Thank you.
It really is.
Glad you see it that way.
Oh, yeah, no, I do, of course.
I know you love Texas Hold'em, though. I can tell you really love tournaments, man. I can tell because
I do.
You like showing up to these things and
you
still do well at them.
Yeah, and it's so pure. It's like everybody buys in and off they go. Anybody can play. For the most part, most of these tournaments. I mean, and I love that. It's almost like a community. It's kind of like I'm very competitive versus myself, and I'm gonna show up and like with my friends, I'm talking a little shit. Like we're ready to go. It's fun, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like a somewhat peaceful atmosphere, even underneath the kind of whatever. Where the cash game side of things, it's a little more taxing in a way. But again, like I have a sort of regular game I play in, which is whatever. But yeah, tournaments are fucking great. Poker tournaments, they're great. What can you say? I mean, you either play or don't.
How do you think you balance now having a new child in your life, 9 months old right now?
No problem.
Not an issue.
Not an issue. When I'm in a tournament, I'm wide awake.
What about just the idea of wanting to play poker all the time?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Yeah.
Not an issue. Okay.
The child.
No, I get it.
The child does. I think overall for my life, what a beautiful thing. Blessed. Like love her so much. She's amazing. When I was fully immersed in poker as like a mid-20s guy or whatever, was I sharp or was I better being that deep in the thick of it? I don't even know sometimes, but logic would tell me probably. I was probably a little bit more poker sharp to really be just living that life, like whatever. But I make time, and I try to be more efficient with my time, and I can gear it up. And a lot of the work has been done almost, I feel that way. I could show up just straight off of vacation, and it's go time. I mean, there might be a little rust. We gotta, but
you're ready
yeah,
to you're ready to dust it off. You're always ready to go.
I am. I'm ready to go.
You're always ready to go.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I like
It's true.
It's very interesting to talk with certain players that don't do much media, that aren't as maybe like I guess I think people are always aware of what they say, and they're always thinking about wanting to come off a certain type of way in some ways. But if you just don't do it a lot, it's just it comes out. The real how somebody thinks comes out, and it's very fascinating just to see the personalities of these players who have been at the high stakes for a long time, because it's like you said, man, it's pretty savage world out there, man. You got people trying to take hundreds of thousands of dollars from you. They're trying to get any advantage that they can in a lot of situations.
What's kind of like ironic though is that it, to me, sometimes almost the highest of stakes can be slightly less savage sometimes than like, the poker room can be a pretty treacherous place though nowadays. So protect yourself at all times. Everybody, but it's just the way of the world. But yeah.
What do you think? What do you think's going on in poker that people need to protect themselves about?
I don't know, man. The poker rooms, like I have a lot of friends in private games, so I'm not about to I'm not taking any grandstands, but there used to be a time where that shit was really frowned upon. Now you look up, they're privatizing games in casinos. You can never stop it in apartments or whatever. And some of the stuff is and everybody's got to eat. So then it gets kind of carnivorous and just weaselly and but yet it just is what it is. We have this conversation a lot because I love the idea of a free floating kind of poker room where I don't know, you can at least get on the list to certain games and stuff, but it's tricky. So just the poker room is a tricky place, man. It's like a strategy game where people are trying to win money, but at the highest stakes, not to say at the medium or low stakes this isn't the case, but a lot of times at the highest stakes, people really love to play the competition. It's actually the game.
Right.
It's the money just is it's weird, they don't really care that much about the earn. So that's that's always going to be a thing. But yeah, I'm ready. You want a window into the mind of high stakes? I stay fucking ready. You understand me?
Where's this come from?
I don't know. I'm so angry. I don't know why I'm so angry.
It's like I've been golfing today, but listen, I'm fucking ready to get after it. I'm ready to go.
So what? A few holes and a deal.
We got my boy Bruno Malavazzi. I can't remember how to I call him Panda Man.
Panda Man.
Shout out to Panda. Okay. Bruno's down in Brazil, man. I hope your health conditions, Bruno, are going a lot better for yourself, brother.
Me too.
Known Bruno for many years in the chat, Bruno. Man. Been a big supporter. Shout out to Perkins. Perkins actually chose him to get a contest where he sent people to PCA one year. I think Bruno got a trip there. So it was,
PCA. Great. Oh, sorry, yeah. Your little shadow here. Yeah.
Let me go with some questions we got from people out there. We got a good question on Twitter. Nick's thoughts on being better known for being a commentator than a poker player.
Yo, you could see the angst. I'm a player. You understand? No, I'm grateful, you know, I'm thankful, blessings. But yeah, I'm a player. I'm a fucking poker player. Come on. That's what
It's called like it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like a little. Well, sometimes there's people that kind of don't know the poker world that much, and they're
Right.
like, oh, you know.
That fucking commentator, huh?
Yeah, I'm Nick the commentator now, and it's like that's okay. It's you know but it's in my heart very much. I'm kind of more of a player. That's my happy place to view myself as a player, kind of, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it, pal.
Okay. I can tell. Do Ali and Nick have a real-time thesaurus while they commentating? Meaning,
No, we don't have a real-time thesaurus. No, but I know what you're saying. You know, we're no, of course not.
And then I guess that lends to the idea of something we talked about before this briefly, was that the articulation and the words that you use. They got the smoothie, and you have all these different terms. I don't know, where do you come up with these terms? Are you just sitting around thinking?
Some of them I'm sure I stole from somebody. Others maybe they just appeared. I don't know. We're trying to kind of keep. Sometimes Ali gets a little carried away here. He's you know,
circumcised penis jokes start getting thrown out
that's
there.
Getting thrown in there. But I don't know. These are long streams. We have a lot to say. I don't know. We'll mix it up a little.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess when you think of poker hand, right, you go, all right, Jimmy raises, Billy calls, here's the flop, ace, king, 4, Jimmy checks, or Billy, whatever guy here checks.
Yeah.
It seems like to me you think about that in your mind, and then you say, okay, what other words and what other way can I say this that isn't just this generic sort of basic approach to it? It would seem like, do you consciously think about that, or you get in the moment and you're just lost in the moment and you sort of go, okay, I'm going to go here with it. I'm going to use this word, and then maybe people like the word, and I continue to use those sort of phrases.
Lost in the moment, but I prepare.
Okay.
You know, I don't necessarily prepare I do think about different kind of regions of the board to kind of just describe conceptually maybe, and to get in and out. You know, like I don't know, but lost in the moment for sure is the kind of the way to really be in there. I think because you get invested in what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
But you mentioned preparation, which I think
Sure.
is something that I think poker players don't understand the importance of preparation. And when you look at other sports and you look how these top people in these arenas, whether it's in television or whether it's actors or whether it's athletes in NFL or UFC, these guys are preparing all day long and studying and getting ready for those games. And I think that myself personally in the past, and a lot of people I knew, didn't really take that preparation very seriously. And you maybe put 30 minutes into preparing and you think, okay, that's it, I'm ready. But it doesn't really work that way.
There's always a part of me that wants to just keep everybody worse. Just don't do
I
it.
know.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll do me, you do you, and I'll see you at the tables. You know, but these physical sports are different because poker you can prepare walking down the street a little bit. You know, it's I mean, poker players you get really into anything you think about it, but tailor-made preparation, of course, is good, but it's got to be efficient, and like it has to be kind of. It's hard to say, you know, physical sports where you're like it's a little bit different, but yeah, of course, yeah.
Very important question to me in the chat. Nax Stark says, I don't know if I should buy the IKEA Marcus chair. Poppy, can you tell me if it's comfortable enough? Nick, what do you think about the IKEA Marcus black leather chair? Yes.
I wouldn't buy. I think you can do better than this chair. No offense, Poppy, but it's kind of. I'm not crazy, but it's okay.
This is my. I've had this.
Because does this lock? So I
can
can
lock this.
Yeah,
so, I always lock it.
So
I never
lock that. Wait a second.
Okay.
Not locked. It's much better.
I always use it locked. I never use it unlocked.
Solid chair. I don't know. I don't know too much about the chair game.
Okay, here's the chair. The chair, IKEA Marcus $199 black leather. I've had it in 4 different countries for about 12 years now. So it is my #1 recommended chair. I'm sure you get the $1,000 chairs. You know, those have their own benefits, and I'm sure you sit in the chair, you're gonna fucking like the chair.
Affordable though.
Right, but we got a lot of economic conscious people out there who don't want to spend $1,000 on the Herman Miller or something like that.
Right.
So that would be. But yeah, if you lean the chair back, it's a slightly different experience than when the chair's actually
when you
upright.
lock this thing, this is a solid chair.
Right. It kind of. Sure. I like it for me because I'm a little taller, so it keeps the posture sitting upright.
And thank you for reminding me. Yep.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Do you do at the poker table well?
I try to sit up more. You know, I'm a little more mindful of that now. Yeah. Try to keep an eye on the back. I'm like a praying mantis.
35 now, getting a little older there. We got to be more conscious of the body and stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
Hate to remind you about it.
It's true. You got to, of course.
You know, easy to forget how old we're getting sometimes.
I know.
No,
but here we are.
It's definitely tough here. Let's see some more questions we got on Twitter for you out here too.
What you got?
Okay. What does Nick think about his rise in the popularity? Does he like it? And does he realize, according to this guy, does he realize how much weight his words have now?
Yeah. No, I don't. You know, what is that? I don't wait. I mean, trying to
Influence, impact,
trying to do a job the right way. Don't
lasting
want the
impression.
I don't know, man. I'm a person, you know, like, thank you for the kind words, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
I don't think my words carry any weight. I don't want them to. I just want to.
You just want to go there, commentate, do your job.
And then I'm over here now.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Play some golf, play some pool.
Kind of, yeah.
You still playing a lot of pool? So
sometimes. If the game is right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah. Or I'll hit balls a little bit, yeah. But I was so into it, it's hard for me to, like,
casually.
I'm kind of either playing or I'm not.
Right.
I would love to play, like, a couple of times a month, but I tend to start just the way kind of it is with me in pool.
You mean that you just get enthralled with it?
I'm either playing every day for a while, or I'm kind of not playing.
That makes sense, yeah.
I wish I could just, like, pick up a cue, but it's like, I don't know, it's weird for me.
Do you have any gambling stories with my man Jean-Robert Voland?
Plenty. so many.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who would have known, man?
We played pool 1,000,000 times together. I mean, the worst is when he's really stepping on your throat in the pool hall. A lot of pool players could tell you this. And then he has the front desk play, like, 80s music, and he starts singing along to every song. He knows the words to every 80s song. It's uncanny, and he does a little dance when it's real brutal. I've been in there, like, looking to crack the queue over this fucking guy. But yeah, I love him though. I mean, come on, you know, But yeah, he can really, he could twist it, man. You know.
What is he saying? So he's beating you at pool. He's taking your money from you. He's dancing.
Yeah.
He's singing a little song.
There it is. 10,000 a game sometimes. You know. Yeah.
So
right.
You're just like, please.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to be the best version of me, but you know, it's tough sometimes. So, yeah.
What do you think about? What do you think is it about a guy like a Jean-Robert Voland that the poker community seems to have such an enjoyment for?
He's a very affable, witty guy, for starters. I mean, this dude is, like, seriously, like, kind of a funny guy. He gives a lot of action, you know, and he's just you got to ask them. But I find Jean-Robert to just be very entertaining to why he yucks it up with people. He's kind of funny, and, like, he's got some, like, you know, he's just a character. Sometimes you can't totally define it, but right. Jean-Robert has character and is a character.
He wears his heart on his sleeve. He shows the emotion.
Yeah.
That's kind of something people talk about in poker that's lacking right now, is that, a debate some people have is it's boring to watch some of these high-stakes tournaments, like a Steven Chitwick or a Vogelsang kind of thing like that, because of that.
Maybe you don't know what's going on. That's why it's boring. I mean, but maybe it is. Maybe they're robots and they don't show their feelings and they're not fun to watch. But maybe it is. I hear you. To me, it's not. But maybe it is. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
You think that if people had a better understanding of what was happening in the game, it'd be more enjoyable for people, which makes sense, right? Because you think back in the day, right, everyone knew what was happening a lot of times. Like the guy had top pair, but right. 3/4 pot, the guy had the flush draw call.
To where it's gone now in no-limit tournaments, maybe to a degree. But I really admire that they're not putting a little show on, or it's not about how whatever. Not admire, it just is what it is. Like, these are the dudes that show up for these tournaments. So if somebody thinks it's boring, I can't argue with that at all, because right. I get that is really what I'm saying. I can see that. I could see feeling that way, sure.
Yeah, I guess the argument people make is that it's not boring when you understand what's going on. But if you don't understand what's going on, and you're just...
Sometimes it can be a little boring, and I don't know what the fuck these players are doing half the time, too. But I gotta listen, we hit some spurts, like, late day one, or so, like, I get it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's, if you love poker tournaments, you have to watch these things, man. You have the best players doing things that are not standard always, and choosing sizes in different spots that you're not going to see.
Collect these spots. Yeah. What are they doing? What are they thinking? What would you be doing? Of course, sure.
it's kind of interesting to see, for me, see the evolution of certain players as well, and kind of see players have their moment, and then they take that step back once they've had that success, and then other people who haven't had that success, they're working extra hard to get to that point. You have a guy like a Kerry Katz who comes in as a recreational player and comes in as from the businessman side of things, starts Poker Central, throws himself into these high stakes tournaments, starts a series at Aria, continues to work at his game for many years, and now, you know, has that success in the super high rollable in London, and kind of has that moment for himself, and I'm sure he has these aspirations to become the top high stakes tournament player in the world, kind of thing. So I feel like, for me, I think he does. I really think he does.
This guy is really.
That guy's a fucking machine,
he's
man.
a
Jesus
beast.
Christ.
I mean,
What the hell,
the
man?
tournament on the moon tomorrow, he'll be there. Like, no problem.
I think that guy loves poker tournaments more than almost anybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of going on right now. So I feel like it's a small little community of players, and the regulars remain the same. And I'd personally like to know more about these guys because, and I think I'd like the community to get to know more about them, because we know people that have been stoic in the past and quiet at the tables. To Patrick Antonius is, I was going to say Zygmunt, but he's a fucking madman online. It's not true. Even like a Phil Ivey.
Had some live sessions with Zygmunt, man. He's funny, dude.
Shout out
Zygmunt.
Shout out to Zygmunt, man. He's a legend of
But Ivey, of course, very quiet.
Right.
Yeah,
So we've had these stoic characters in the past. That
Why is it a problem now?
That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's because we just had more context to who these players were to be able to care about them a bit more. We know Phil Ivey's story. He grows up in Atlantic City. He's underage. He's got the fake ID with Jerome. No
home Jerome.
Right. So now we're told
Legend.
the story of who he is over these many years, and we're like, okay, we know where Valley came from.
Also, he had a mythical kind of dominance over the poker field that today is close to impossible. Again, not only the dilution of like what to play, but like, you know, I mean, it does. You see like Bonomo and Chidwick, and I mean, it does happen where there's a Fedor. There's a clear consensus number one. That's a beautiful thing, very important for sports. But Ivey's, you got to remember what he did to his era was like, dude could really play like back in the day, like old Ivey shit, like semi, like this dude was like really ahead of his time, for real, live strategy wise, the whole thing. I mean, he dominated. Look at what he did, you know, and it's like. So that's very compelling. I mean, it is. You know,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we really love those guys that are dominating, right?
So big.
You mentioned like Fedor, his rise that he has.
How about that run that Fedor went on? People don't act like this is all time great, but like it is. The results speak for themselves. This motherfucker. I mean, like crazy.
It's always interesting to see when people go on that run.
He won every tournament he played.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Like,
and then they're like, I'm fucking over it, I'm done.
Yeah,
you know,
that
like,
whole thing, like, it does
done.
sting a little bit when they come along and they're like, oh, I'm out of here now to start fucking everything. But, like, good for you. You know what I mean? You can't hate on that. That's just is what it is.
Yeah.
That's him living his life.
Mm-hmm. Fedor will be on the podcast tomorrow. We've already did record this one.
Shout out Fedor.
Yeah, Fedor. He's got other aspirations, right? He wants to start these companies. He wants to help the world out. He wants to experience the world in different ways. So
I can't be mad at that.
Can't argue that, right? I mean,
can't
listen,
make the world better, man. I'm not mad at that.
Doing yoga in various parks around Austria. I mean, I can't.
Yoga in Austria.
Doing yoga with the top yoga influencers in Czech Republic. I can't. You know, that is what it is. Right? I mean, that's what I'm liking, man. We got my buddy Brandon Shack Harris in the chat.
What's up, Brandon?
He says, "Nice to see you back, Joey. Top 3 traits you appreciate about yourself and value in others. My read is loyalty ranks extremely high."
Is that for me?
I don't know.
For Joe,
both
for
of us.
you.
I think it's a great question. Top 3.
That is a good question.
Brandon's. I mean, listen. Brandon's a professional for a reason. The guy is one of the most thoughtful people that I think I've ever met. So, what do you think about that? Top 3 traits you appreciate about yourself or value in others? If you don't,
100% loyalty. Fucking way in that top 3. Definitely. I don't know. No,
I never thought about that in my
question.
life. Yeah.
Integrity to a degree is important, but I'm not the integrity master, you know. So all these things are open mind, sort of, but I don't know. But you know, What about you, Joey?
I think effort, something I value pretty high in somebody, right?
Yeah,
like somebody who puts in that effort, who says what they're going to do, and then goes out there and do it. Which obviously kind of back to integrity and something that I've certainly struggle with as I've scaled my life up to be able to be a man of my word and do everything I say I'm going to do and the promises I make.
And appreciate other people's perspective. You know, sometimes sometimes you see a person and it seems like they're one way, but they might be struggling too. You know, you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's most people though.
Right.
Because,
you learn that as you get a little older. You learn like, oh, they struggled. It's not just
right.
like so that's like a quality I like in people. Not don't overdo it, but like good
right.
to remember that.
Yeah, I think in terms of the idea of sharing yourself is that, let's say you've shared yourself in the past to 3 people and you got a reaction that you just didn't make you feel comfortable.
Right.
So you're going to be inclined to not want to share that in the future, and then you want to get people to like you, so you're putting on this perception that you think they're going to like of you, and you're not really sharing your deep thoughts.
Genuine,
yeah. Right, you're not discussing. And I think this is where the idea of mental health and the anxiety and depression come into play, is that you aren't able to really explore yourself to understand why you feel this way, and you're not comfortable to be able to share your thoughts with anybody to further that own understanding of yourself, and you don't really know how to escape from that and find somebody to be able to bat back and forth with on these ideas, and you just end up having these things in your mind on your bed for fucking 7 months and takes over your life, sort of thing like that. You don't really know how to get out of it.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people stuck in negative thought patterns, or like loneliness is pretty pervasive in this. Like a lot of people are on the computer all day. Get out there, have some interactions, look somebody in, be warm. Just try to have some people, but I mean, everybody's in a different spot, but a lot of people feel that. Yeah,
I agree, man. I think that the idea of loneliness.
What were you thinking about for 7 months, Joe? It was heavy for you,
bro?
Oh
yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, I talked about this on the podcast with Doug. Very debatable, right? Like I think I wasn't for a long time.
Yeah.
I definitely was going through one of these things. The idea of loneliness, for instance, right, is that you're so connected to people and you communicate with people in so many different ways, but at the same time, if you aren't communicating your who you feel like you truly are,
right, and
the things that you say feel like maybe not who you are anymore, I think that can really get at you, because you sort of are wondering, well, why can't I express myself, or why can't I figure myself out, or why am I the way I am? So I think for me specifically was that the things I was doing weren't making me very happy at all, and I couldn't figure out why, because it's like, well, I built a life for myself, it should be great. And then you start thinking, well, as you evolve as a human being and as you learn more about the world, well, the way you see things and approach things changes drastically. And when you're scared to express that fear of people aren't going to like you, or people aren't going to accept you, or just fear of really facing the reality that you're not the person that you thought you were for a long time, I think that really can beat up at you. And I think for me, it's just I stayed isolated here in my little Vegas apartment here for so long here, that I think I just really kind of lost my mind in a lot of ways, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me.
I feel you. You got disconnected, kind of.
Very disconnected, and I didn't.
That can happen, man. Yeah. A lot of people are more disconnected than you might think. It's like, it can happen though. Yeah, it sounds like you have a good grasp on it though, man.
I'll try. I mean, I spent 8-10 hours a day
studying,
time, right? Like that's what I try. I just was like, what? Well,
it's okay, I gotta study to pile it in on stuff and just go hard at stuff, or find something that you like, whatever. But to put a little of that mental kind of work, good for you, man. Yeah, we're
trying, man. I mean, it's a lot of the negative. I mean, it is what it is. But I think a lot of people out there struggle with things like that too, and I think it's important to share that with people, because other people out there, they're consuming different types of content, and what they 100%. Consume is who they become in the thoughts that they start to think. So I feel like, kind of mentioned this with the podcast on Doug at the beginning, was having like a Garrett Adelstein on my podcast, talking with him about the idea of depression, and him sharing himself, and the feedback that I received from so many people that said, like, this podcast saved my life in some ways.
Beautiful thing too.
Right, incredible. And it's like, holy,
of course.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, and me, it helped me out so much, and I say, well, I'd like to be able to do that to some extent with people out there too, but it's tough because
you just did it.
Yeah, well,
you just did it though, bro.
The tough part is that when you
you get to talk about your feelings.
No, it really isn't.
Everybody has feelings. You don't think you're. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah. I think that's why poker's great though, is that you can kind of take those feelings and put them into the game, and you escape from having to think about these feelings.
Yeah, exactly. I check. Yeah, on you now. Right? Don't worry about me.
Exactly.
But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so those are definitely things that I've been working at a lot, trying to get a better understanding of. And
great, man. It's a process, Yeah.
Definitely a process.
For sure.
So you feel like you have a good grasp of yourself, who you are, and why you are the way you are, and why you want to be the things that you want to be in your life?
Not entirely, no. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a part of the human condition with everybody else, so not entirely, but I'm trying day to day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got I've compiled some ideas along the way of what kind of the things I should sort of be doing, or I don't know. But yeah, no, not entirely.
No, not entirely. Where do you think the idea of wanting to have this success at the highest stakes, highest level of play at poker comes from. This attitude that you have of.
Because I'm a fucking beast. That's why. Have we not made this clear yet? No, go ahead. Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Where is this beast? Is this what you feel like you have to do to get yourself there, right?
Deep insecurity? Is that what it was? Is that what it is? I don't know, Joey. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think I could just play. I like to dive into things, and I could just play poker, man. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm talented. Is it possible?
Maybe.
Like maybe the game chose me. You know, I really don't know, but I'm here, and like it's just how I feel at this point. It's like I've come too far to kind of turn, but I have to try to, you know what I mean? Like with like it's
put your all into it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really know why, but I think I'm built a little bit like that. I think and just here we are.
People are asking about your shirt in the chat, Nick. Where can they get this shirt?
Got this shirt in London.
Okay.
When I was there for the recent Triton stop, I think. I could be wrong, but I asked the guy for a business card. I got like 20 shirts from this dude. They were all just flayed. I mean, what is this? You see this, right? I got a bunch of shirts like this. I think the business card was lazyground.com, maybe.
Okay.
Don't remember the name of the store.
Do you want me to look at the tag on the back of your shirt? Maybe
you can, but I think it's different companies. I think this guy.
Okay, Lazy Ground. You're right. Yeah,
does it say Lazy Ground?
Lazy Ground. Yeah.
Lazy Ground.
Yeah.
Flavor T-shirts. I have a million of these. I'm gonna be
rocking the shirt. So it looks like we got a two birds.
I didn't overthink it too much, but I like the way it looked. I got one with a big cat face that I like a lot.
Are you subconsciously trying to let people know you're gonna fucking destroy them at the poker table through the middle of your hands?
Probably.
If all the fish bring their game to the table.
This is you guys.
Doyle and Scott Seaver right here.
That's Doyle, Scotty. And this is me. I'm the hands.
You're the hands. Yeah. Just fucking got the tattoos right there to match. Okay.
Yeah. Both those guys give me some problems from time to time, by the way.
Do they? Yeah. Scott Seaver? What do you think?
Scotty gives me a lot of problems. I have a very fun kind of. I enjoy playing with Scott. He's a great player. He's very funny. He's a roller coaster of just, and he's a beast. I mean, and like I like playing with Scott. I'm thankful to play with some of these guys. Like where it's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. You got a question for Scott? Maybe we ask him on the podcast. Maybe something unique.
Me?
Yeah, unique view of you because you obviously have a different view of Scott.
No, I love Scott. No, I don't know. I'll just ask him not on the pod.
I have a question for him.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of characters in Bobby's room, huh? You got Gus Popster there, Hollywood Haxton's kind of.
You guys don't know Gus. It's just Gus is indescribable. Hollywood Haxton. This guy is just amazing at poker. Such a nice guy.
Any up and comers we got to watch out for potentially in the poker world that are kind of
lots
that are new entrants to the Bobby's room scene?
I'm always ready for new entrants. Yeah. You know where they? Yeah, there's some Chris Kruk. He's in there playing Animal. Love Chris. Was a lot of fun. Like getting to sort of know him, play with him. And I mean, real tough player. Here he is. He sits down and he's ready to go, man.
Yeah, I think Chris is another guy making that transition from an online Nolan player, now PLO player, now trying to get in the mixed game kind of scene too.
Plays everything. He really has a mind for it. Puts the work in and gets the hands in, and he's just an animal. I mean, that's really tough.
Yeah. Bruno says any Jungle Man stories? You got any?
Speaking of characters that come into
where do those guys come from,
man? I don't want to tell. Listen, I love Jungle Man. He's. I'm very thankful. Sometimes I get to run a hand by this man, and it's always a beautiful experience.
It really
Jungle is just
ask him any question. It's a beautiful experience. It really is.
No, but I mean, poker wise though, he has this is a language that he's just nasty, dude. So it's like Jungle wears his heart on his sleeve. He's real. Like what you see is what you get with this guy. And I really, really appreciate that about him a lot. And I think a lot of players do. He is what he is. He's the Jungle Man. I mean, there you go. That's what it's normal to say, hey, Jungle. And he's like, oh, hey. You know what I mean? That's who he is.
Jungle Man, what's up?
Yeah. It's just a totally normal thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Jungle Man is very in your face in a lot of ways. He's going to answer a question. He's going to tell you everything he's thinking about the question, right?
Doesn't matter. He's built like that,
Doesn't matter what the question is and what the answer. He's going to at least give you. He's going to give you some thoughtful answer, and he's going to take you down a road that you didn't even see that road on the map, kind of thing like that. And he's going to go down a path, and sometimes you maybe say you don't want to say that publicly, right?
But he's not thinking about what to say publicly. He's just doing what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we talk about characters in the poker industry, we got a lot of characters in poker world, man, and people that don't mind putting themselves out there in a lot of ways too, like that, and kind of.
Sure.
So when the idea of people boring, right? I don't see it that way personally. I think we have a
neither,
lot
but
of
we know these guys
and that's
for real,
what makes
though.
it,
That's the thing.
I think
like
that's
I know,
right.
Like I know Dan Smith for real. Not saying he's, by the way, one of the least boring players, but I'm just saying, like I know, like when I watch like one of these like high level No Limit tournaments or whatever it is, like these dudes.
Yeah,
like,
Dan,
you know what
Dan
I mean?
Smith, very not boring.
Not a boring guy.
Okay,
Like, but it's
well,
like if you're bored,
yeah.
you're bored. What can I say? You know what I mean? Like But when you really are invested in kind of a like. For some reason, the word community makes me uncomfortable, but it is,
Why does it
of
make you
course.
feel uncomfortable?
I don't know
It's
why.
like
No, it is. I'm not like, but again, I mean, we touched on whatever, but when you're invested in it, it's different. Like, these people.
Mm-hmm. It is a community.
It's a community, yeah, but I mean,
I've looked up the
everything's a
definition of
community.
community
People that
recently. It really
love
is a
like
community,
knitting
though, yeah.
are in a knitting community, I guess. I don't know. Like,
there are a lot
everything's a community.
There are a lot of sub-communities out there, yeah.
Then there's sub-communities, committees, community. It's all fucked up.
The micro
Game's all fucked
communities.
up, but I'm right here, as you all know.
Ready to get after it.
Yeah.
James asking the great, what can poker
James?
do to get more women in the game? Maybe
I mean, don't
Nick
be a
GQ or something like that.
Don't be a I don't know what we're gonna get. Yeah, you want me to take my shirt off?
Listen,
for the ladies?
I'm gonna
Is that what you're saying?
Can I tell you something, Nick?
Yes, you can.
I'll
I
tell you
think.
this right now, okay?
I don't know.
I love when they ask those on the interview, like do an interview podcast, and they're like, "Can I ask you a question?" Like while that's the host saying, "Can I ask you a question?" Of course, the guys in this fucking say yes. So
sure
it's
you
this
can. Of course,
interesting
I'm
statement
here,
to
right?
make.
I mean,
exactly. Like I came here to answer questions, talk about questions. So I know women in their poker world. I know a lot of women that are fans of poker, and you'll ask them, they'll say, who's your favorite poker player, right? Mm-hmm. And the person I hear the most in terms of like, hey, can you introduce me to this person? My man Nick Schulman right here.
What's up? Right? I'm the key to getting the ladies in the game. No.
You might be, man. I mean, listen. I
can't answer that question.
More than one.
I don't know.
There's more than one.
Full of shit, Joe.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I think I actually texted you one of them one time when I said
you did, but I didn't take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't know. Women like to play though. There's women that play. I mean, you gotta ask them.
Yeah, women out there. Yeah. They're out there playing.
I hope the poker room is an accessible environment for everybody. At the end of the day, the game speaks. I know sometimes you hear stories of these animals at the table, like making it very uncomfortable for women in certain games. So maybe that is a deterrent. Certainly, that's a deterrent. But I mean, it should go without saying, like. Don't be a fucking scumbag. Take a look at yourself if you're like, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, it's tough. There's so many games. You know what I mean? It's because people are drinking. This is kind of the world in a sense. Like, don't be a scumbag. Like, make it an approachable place for women. That shit should go without saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's
seems
a
obvious,
deterrent.
right? Like, hey,
right, I mean,
woman shows up to play at your table. Let's
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
come on, guys. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. But other than that, I'll come play. Women get respect when they come play. There's some great female players too. Great, obviously, but it's true.
We got Chris Kruk in the chat. Said just want to stop in
and
say hi to Nick. One of the most fun guys to chat with in Bobby's room.
I really have enjoyed Chris's. What's up, Chris?
A rare, reasonable human amongst the lunatics.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's such a nice thing to say. I haven't I don't know if I'm reasonable, but thank you, Chris.
You can make that.
They're so crazy in there. I seem semi-normal. It's like, which is insane. But
I can make an argument either side of you being that.
Thank you, Chris.
Reasonable or not. Yeah, lunatic or not lunatic. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I imagine there's some fucking crazy personalities in there, man. People that are just very opinionated, very high belief in themselves, open-minded to an extent, but willing to argue their opinions and speak incredibly passionate about it.
But also some objectivity too, though, because remember, if you're they're not all like totally stuck in their way.
Right, exactly. And that's what I think makes it. Whereas other people that might not have
some decent people in there. All jokes aside, like But of course, Doyle Brunson. I mean, this guy legend doesn't even, of course. But talk about a stubborn personality. I mean, my goodness, my God, I love Doyle.
Not ready to necessarily evolve to maybe.
No, he evolves. Oh no, he's
not necessarily evolve in a poker sense, but maybe evolve in an opinionated sense, sort of thing like
83 years old.
Well, that is what it is.
83-year-old man. I mean, still in there scrapping with the boys, playing great.
Isn't that crazy? 80 fucking 3. He's battling at the highest stakes in the world, and Bobby's room there.
Legend.
Yeah, man, that's
obviously, but I mean, yeah, I get to play with him, so I'm thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, learned a lot from this guy too, man. A lot of little stories. This guy's like razor sharp, like interesting, unique. You know, all of it, everything you could imagine. Like when you play all day, you just hear the stuff these dudes say. Like he's an interesting guy. He says some crazy stuff, but so do I. You know, yeah.
That's true, man. Drew Amato, my man Drew in the
What's
chat.
up, Drew?
That's
my boy.
One of, if not the debatably top photographer, not only in poker, but debatably maybe in the world. If he
Maybe in the world.
If he tested himself out there in the world, he might even people
does
might,
a little bit sometimes. He's at the fight snap.
Exactly.
Drew's around.
I'm telling you, he's getting out there, man.
Yeah.
He said, "Would you leave poker?" Well, I know the answer to this question, but would you leave poker and never play again if you were offered a long-term contract commentating boxing?
I didn't put Drew up to this, but that is a dream of mine, but it's like uncomfortable for me to talk about. I want to commentate boxing. That's another reason this poker commentating fucked me up, because now I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I could commentate boxing. Like that's a very tough barrier to entry. Sometimes I've had meetings with like some of these bigwigs, and I'm like, yep, here I am. I'm ready. And they're all like, well, what are your credentials again? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Like, I'm a fan who's ready to be ringside and commentate. What do you mean? But the truth is, I'm obsessed with boxing. I love boxing. It's hours a day for me every day. Whether I'm in there throwing hands, whether I'm just studying the sport, whatever, I'm just obsessed with it for whatever reason. So would I leave poker? No, Drew, the dream is this. I got an event or two a year in poker, and I'm employed to commentate the super fights in boxing. No, I'm kidding. I pay my due. Listen, I don't think it's going to happen, but if I could commentate, be there on Saturday night, I would have to strongly consider this, Drew. You know this. I mean, I would have to strongly consider.
I got an idea, Nick. I got a great idea.
I'm not going to start a podcast, I don't think.
No, not a podcast, okay. Right? So you know how I do my fight breakdown videos sometimes.
Yes. If you ever want to bring me in,
this is what I'm thinking, right? What if we bring you in for something? Sure. We see how we put it out there. The people love watching those fight videos. They get a lot. You never know, right? Then someone says, "Man, I'd like to see Nick more do that," and we kind of start the campaign.
Boxing, though, not that I'm not diehard with the UFC, because I am on combat sports, but boxing, I'm talking about prize fighting. Right. I'm not talking about these guys rolling around. And
what about
no disrespect. I know it's boring to most of you. You want to see a guy just get killed. But it's like, and by the way, but all jokes aside, there's deaths in boxing. Actually, there were some recently, so, both sports are dangerous, but you know what I meant. Like the UFC, I love it. I'm watching every fight, but I'm a boxing fan, diehard boxing.
What about the bare knuckle? You seen the bare knuckle?
Yeah, bare knuckle. Yeah, Malinaji got in there, man, at the end of the rope. Respect to him. He gets shit on, but he got in there with fucking Lobov. That was a tough fight to watch. Yeah, bare knuckle boxing. That's a sport. How could you not respect that sport? They just, I mean, it's pure. But I like regular boxing with gloves. In a ring,
okay,
the usual.
I'm gonna find something good something for us to do, like a shorter kind of thing like that.
Let me know.
We got my man the Saurus out there. I saw him up there a little bit ago, man.
Legend.
Always in the legend of the rap battle community like that.
Love it.
I'm my goal. No, I would say my goal is to rap battle him one day, but it's not. He's a master, man. And he also, I remember one time I felt like he's like any avid poker player as well too. On the grind, works hard.
I just met him this summer, but he's like, I mean. Freestyle rap crew, probably similar to poker in sense of communities and like where do you stand? He was out there on the streets though doing it, man. I mean, keep doing it.
Yeah, man. He's definitely a legend. I love watching the legends from other spaces come over, hop in poker, man, and kind of getting some of the music people out there kind of hop over there too as well. So you got Norm Macdonald in there, the comedy legend himself, kind of comes in poker as well too.
It's always so uncomfortable for me seeing Norm, because I want to just be like, he knows how beloved. I mean, we're talking about an all-time great stand-up here. Mm-hmm. That contribution to the world, comedy. It's just like, thank you. It's like, so it's like, yeah, of course, seeing Norm out there. I mean, come on, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Love Norm.
Do you box it all yourself?
A little bit.
A little bit. You go hit the bag a little bit, or you got a trainer or something like that, or what?
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I might be going this week, so I'm going to start working more of the combat sports and training.
There you go.
I might want to do some not a boxing fight,
but
I want to do a mixed martial arts fight at some point in time.
Nice.
So,
look at you.
Yeah, I love it. So I want
get out there on the ground, up top. You know, a lot of variables going on in the mixed martial knee, leg stomps. You know,
a lot of stuff happening there for sure. So you watch UFC at all? You like UFC?
I watch every fight, of
Yeah.
course. Yes, I do. I love the UFC. I appreciate combat sports, of course.
The
Not
source
of
says,
course, but you know what I mean.
he said, I will gladly offer battle rap coaching. Perfect. Bros.
There it is.
Can't argue with that, man. I mean,
No.
fuck, I like that idea.
Dude.
That'd be kind of sick. Just turn into it. I feel like you'd be a battle. Like you'd be sick with the battle rap. I don't know if you'd like to put the people
rap.
down, right? But you love
No,
rap.
I'll put a
You have.
motherfucker. I'll destroy it. If I couple drink. No, I'm not saying I have the chops because I don't. I mean, that's a craft in and of itself, of course. But like if I went,
you get coaching from.
if I went to that,
best,
if
right?
I went to that place, yeah, I'd have no problem putting somebody down. That's what the sport is.
Right.
I mean, there might be lines you don't quite. Maybe I wouldn't cross certain lines, but yeah, I'm looking to crush them. Yeah,
You wouldn't mind?
bang. No, fuck no.
Okay.
Battle rap.
Battle rap.
Making the world a better place. It's all good.
Man,
you know?
think about this, right? You're combining the articulation with the knowledge, with the being in the moment, with the idea of preparation.
Preach, Joey. Maybe
with
this
the
is
idea,
it.
with the
See
idea of being a rap fan.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna
geez,
go.
let's
Just
go.
yeah, maybe.
Landon says Joey wants to do an MMA fight so we can commentate over it. I'm not saying that's not a great idea. I mean,
You got to be in there. You got to be, you got to be in there focused.
Something about a fight really fires me up, man. Just watching. I mean,
The
regular
thing
fight,
is, the
like
more
the
you get
street-
into it, though, a lot of it is love. It's not, right after a fight, what do you see? You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
that's
yeah.
the beautiful part of it. But it's true, yeah. Well, as you were saying.
In the fight, I broke down an epic fight from Disneyland that took place last summer. Not much love showed at the end of that one.
I didn't see this, but
It's
I saw
hilarious.
you like talking about it, but I didn't watch. There
It's
was
hilarious.
what parents or so obviously
Like a brother, brother, sister, the sister's husband, the brother's girlfriend, the younger
Not
sister.
Disneyland,
the
guys.
mom.
Not
They're in
Disneyland.
Toontown. They're brawling right there. I mean,
But sometimes people are emotionally unglued and they fight. I mean, I don't know, not. Yeah,
This is certainly what happened. I mean, you spit in a man's face, the man's gonna get upset.
Oh, by the way, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't spit. No.
Anybody ever spit in your face?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
not on purpose. But
I hope not. I mean, yeah,
the poker table sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, you gotta wave it away when people's in your
Of
face.
course,
Kind of.
yeah.
The guy's drinking a lot. He's got his girl
nobody
behind
ever
him.
spit in my face though. That's some shit that like I don't know.
Yeah. I did that too, man. I'm like, man, I don't know what would.
Spit in my mother. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Ask the Guy from that video. I gave the guy's characters. There were other peripheral characters in there.
Yeah.
One guy like
Yeah.
just in the mix, just walking by. This guy looked like he's an acid the entire time.
Acid guy.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
calling
was Disneyland adult on acid. I could see it.
by himself. What do you? Who goes to Toontown by themselves? You're not on some sort of drug, right?
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. Guys, give me some questions in the chat if you guys have any questions.
Give me 1 minute. I could take 1 minute, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Right
ahead.
back.
I'll get some shout outs.
Shout outs.
We're going to do some shout outs here. Who we got in the chat here, boys? We got my man Eric Beck out there. What's up, Eric? What's happening, brother? Elick Gaming out there. What's up, Elick? Eric Beck. Garrett versus Shoei. I got to say, Eric, I've been watching some of your comments today. You leave in some of the worst comments I've ever seen in my life in a chat today, Eric, and that is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to give you a chance, maybe make a turnaround today. But a lot of questions, you just... Not doing it today, brother. Hit the lab, man. Get some fucking study in a good question is. Dean Nelson in the chat. What's up, Dean? What's happening, man? Michael Schultz, my man. Jamming. We jamming out here. Burton, man, one of the top vloggers out there. A man I greatly enjoy. I greatly enjoyed getting to meet him this summer. Got a lot of love for him, man. My boy Heads Up Master, always getting out of line on the Instagram streets. This guy's fucking crazy. Always sending me videos of things that... He's sending me videos. I like them. I like the videos he sends me. I should tell you one of the videos this kid sent me one time. I'll tell you it one time, man. Jason Smith, what's up, man? Joey, cover the Logan Paul KSI. But yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. That's actually a fucking great idea to break down the first fight. That's actually a really good fucking idea. If you want to be hired for my creative team, Jason, feel free to message me. I'd love to add you to the creative ideas team for me. That sounds great, man. Matt Taylor out there in the chat. What's up, Matt? Zachary Weatherford, been showing a lot of love many, many years in the chat. What's up, Zachary? What's happening, brother? Rick Bennett, Doyle Brunson's 86, not 83. I did not know that. Elk Gaming, Colamosa Caramolacita, puppy. What's happening, buddy? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you very much. GK out there. Joey, thank for the sick pods. You're welcome, my friend. It's glad to be back in the streets. Heads Up Master said say it. All right, I'm going to tell you a video this guy Heads Up Master sent me one time, right? So Heads Up Master sent me a video, and he was getting, he was in a car, and he was getting oral service from a woman, and at the end of the oral service, he started shouting me out, saying, Joey, puppy. And he sent me the video as a way to show love. And
did I hear that right? I just came in from the other room.
And I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the video. I'm just saying I got the video.
At the end of receiving oral service,
I
heard that right?
I
want to make sure my
I'm
mind's
just saying,
not in
like,
the
this
gutter,
is what happens when you do a podcast and people enjoy it, right? Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what it is. So he was
What's going on with that guy?
He was
we need an investigation into that guy immediately. Start with day one.
He's in a car and this is what it is. And at the end he goes, puppy,
That's
Joey.
Dude.
It was.
So
Listen, he told me to say it. I said, I'm with that's just one of the videos I've gotten. Imagine the other ones I've gotten. I'm not going to say what's on the video. So.
Wow. Wow, yeah.
I was like, listen, I don't take it in a few times, and I say,
my goodness.
I was like, yeah, well, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. You ever got a video like that from a fan?
I never did. No.
Yeah.
No, I never did. Yeah.
Dare I say GTO?
Yeah.
We can debate it.
Yeah. Wow.
We could bounce it back and forth a few times if it's GTO for sure.
Definitely is GTO to get a video like that. Of course it is.
All right, let me see some of the questions up here. Bruno, how often does Nick get out of line, and who are the people he gets out of line with?
Like at the poker table? Is that what he means, or does he mean like party?
Probably out of line outside a poker table, yeah.
You know, Bruno, the people you know what I mean? It happens from time to time, but I'm not sure what the question means. But you know, the people who I do, I guess. Not too often though. I'm 35. It's like
done. You got
home.
Got your girl, got your child.
Yeah. It's over. Not getting really out of line anymore.
No.
Not too much.
It's a sad state of times for us men now. Getting a little older here, and the out of line streets maybe not as appealing as they once were.
The streets, exactly. I'm not in the streets, you know, but yeah, right. Yeah.
Give me some more questions out there, guys. Poker Stars Pennsylvania thoughts. I have absolutely none. Don't know much about what's happening out there with Poker Stars Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I also am not up on it. I
Yeah.
hope they legalize poker, I guess, online. It strikes me as something I think is good, but I don't know.
You been hopping in the online streets at all yourself?
I sneak around. I'm in the streets a little bit sometimes, yeah, but not too much. Sometimes, probably a little more than you. Yeah, you know. Yeah. I stay around. I hover around the streets, kind of like.
Okay,
in
that makes
a way.
sense. Kirk Corbin Groggins.
Corbin.
NL Deuce to 7 stories, please.
It's a good question.
Great question.
That's
one
a good
obvious
question,
story comes to mind, right? Was that a no limit? Was that a triple draw?
What?
The hand from this summer that you commentated
That was
on.
limit triple draw.
Limit triple draw.
Just
okay.
an incredible. I mean,
like Bryce Yelke
that
and
was amazing, and Josh. Yeah.
Josh Aryeh. Okay.
These are tough. The specific stories, I'd have to think about that. No Limit Deuce, more than any other game, attracts like crazy characters from the South, like just dudes who only play that game. And it's a vibe. It's a little community kind of, but it's a vibe very like a lot of like old school kind of characters who play that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Billy Baxter comes to mind, but there's others who like just play No Limit Deuce, specialists almost.
So I don't know much about Billy Baxter, but I'm told he has the most epic stories of like all time. Bobby Baldwin, I heard, had great stories too.
Bobby is wow. Both of them are extremely funny. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Billy Baxter? What is it? I don't actually know anything about him. So who is he? Like, what's his story? Where does he sort of? Cause I just heard like he's just a sort of a legend in the high stakes gambling world or high stakes world in general. But is he like what's his deal? Is he a sports bettor? Is he a business guy?
Oh yeah,
sports bettor.
Sports.
Okay.
I mean, involved in the sports side of things. You know, he's Billy Baxter.
Yeah.
He promoted fighters. He was involved in the horses a little bit. He has a legendary Rolodex. He's Billy Baxter.
Damn.
That's all I could, you know what I mean? You
gotta get this guy on the podcast, man. Sounds pretty.
Good luck. I mean, if you
could
get him,
listen,
man,
you might be able to pull some things off.
I'm neighbors with him, so maybe I can hit him up.
Oh man,
you want to go on Poppy's podcast, Billy? I don't know.
You think he might say yes? You sell?
I think he might.
I think he might too.
Man, I think it's a dog, but he might.
I think we could get him on. I have some podcast goals I'd like to have people.
Maybe you
on.
Could.
Doyle's one guy I want to have on.
Have you asked him?
No. That's the thing. I never really. I'm a little. I guess I wouldn't say shy, but I usually don't ask people I don't know to come on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like
I hear you.
That's why people say like, why do you have a lot of people on repetitively? I'm like, well, I know that's the guys like people I know the best. So like, I have Doug on because I talk
Yeah.
to Doug, a lot. So
This guy's asking about Ray D and the stud wizard streets. Ray D can play some stud.
Who is Ray D for people out there that don't know much about him?
He's Ray D from Kansas City, legendary cash game player.
Okay.
Deck Argani is his last name. He won a Raz bracelet. He's only done a little bit of commentary, but he's not surprisingly amazing at it. And he's a really good friend of mine. It's just a phenomenal stud player. All the limit games, Ray D lurks. Anybody who's been in a game with Ray D could tell you it's not always super pleasant. Okay, he's tough, man, real tough.
Tough
Great
player.
yeah. Yes.
Would these people say you're a tough player too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All of them. Every single one. Find somebody on planet Earth. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but yes, I think so.
Okay.
The mixed games, sure.
That makes sense. Corbin, biggest pot.
I don't know what to do with this question ever because but the truth of it is I don't even know. Actually, I do. I played Andy Beal once, the banker, so we had 7-figure pots. Like it was, big, real big.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact amount, but crazy shit.
Yeah.
I lost that day, by the way, Corbin. But, who cares? Life goes on, I guess.
Is that guy still play?
Or does it?
Does that guy still play poker, Andy Beal? Does he still show his face every once in a while, or is he sort of?
I think he may. I don't like to kind of talk about. I guess I don't know. I don't want to put his whatever. But yeah, I think he likes to play still. Most people who've ever played, they never fully disappear.
Right. If they're not playing publicly, they're playing somewhere privately with their friends. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. What if you thought about this question I've been thinking about more lately because it's relevant to the audience out there. Because I'm thinking like, who's my audience? And I think we got a lot of recreational players who want to make more money at poker, and they're trying to get better. And obviously, there's a lot of strategy out there, but there's a lot of strategy out there, right? So you never know which one to fully trust or fully take in. So something I want to start asking guests down here is just, what would be like a piece of advice or one or two pieces of advice for players out there who are on the recreational side of things who are looking to, I guess, plug a common leak that those guys might have at those sort of, whether it's lower stakes games or just whatever stake game they play. Because I feel like we see a lot of common leaks among recreational players, but at No Limit, I don't necessarily know specifically what they might be at No Limit. At PLO, I have a pretty good idea what they are at PLO. But at No Limit, what do you kind of think that would be some practical advice you might be able to give some of those guys out there that are looking to kind of maybe take their poker game a little more seriously?
I don't know why this question is always so daunting for me because it's like you get what you put into something. So, and there's so many resources around if you want to kind of pursue No Limit. But obviously you play and then you sort of are mindful about your play, you review your play somewhat, and then you try to incorporate new ideas, again, by drawing upon like the vast sort of resource kind of pool and like any other game or sport. I mean, you got to put that time in, but if you can find better players than yourself or more experienced players to review spots with, it's great. And be humble, try to be objective, but also like you put up a spirited fight, I don't know. I mean, starting ranges are a nice, if your starting ranges are somewhat in ordinance with like some theoretical ideas, you're off in the right direction. You don't want to play Jack 6 offsuit under the gun. One of the reasons is there's all of these seats behind you that could just have a great hand. It happens 5% of the time they have one. Add all those dudes up, it's like this hand is not good. Certain hands don't play well multi-way, but play okay heads up. It's a concept to kind of be wary of. But if you don't put that, like one blanket do this or that, it's almost like the game's too. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. It starts off with pre-flop, right? It starts off with the pre-flop
to an extent, but what order you kind of like,
how you structure what you're going to work.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Whatever and playing. I mean, and then feeling it, and how one retains what they've seen at the table. How do they retain, compute it, and kind of analyze it for next time? Like maybe a little bit of working on yourself a little bit, or just
no doubt about it. I think
playing with a clear mind.
Right. You mentioned being mindful and that being focused while you play and actually paying attention to what you do, and it sounds like makes sense, but a lot of people I know don't they're on their phone oftentimes, and they're not necessarily paying much attention.
It's
and while
done it.
you might be able to beat a terrible player who's just playing awful ranges when you're knitting it up and stuff like that.
With me, sonny boy,
Yeah.
and you better put that phone down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're playing
Yeah.
against someone who's paying attention,
Yeah.
they're gonna fucking destroy you a lot of
Yeah,
times,
I'm
man.
reading your
So-
texts. I'm over and over. Yeah.
How's he feeling right now? What's he thinking? I mean, yeah, that's something I always see. You know, playing some of these PLO
Sure.
games when I go pop in there, is you got, you know, I see like I mean, what it is, right? You got the weaker players on their phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, these
But
guys.
it's kind of a sad thing too. Not sad, but it's like there's multiple questions within poker. Like one is like, how do you really get better at poker? Let's just say the moves you should be making kind of in cooperation with the way shit sort of works. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then another question is like, how do you make the most money as a poker player, or how can you procure profitable, you know? And that one, it's like, that's a tough, you know what I'm saying? But there's so many different, because I know players who, they win the most in poker,
Right.
for sure, on the cash game side of things. But I would work these dudes, but they're in the right spots. Like, I got a lot of people would, like, no disrespect, they win. They, you know, so it's like, I don't know. That's why I like to think of it as in tournaments, just because it's more, I always like have both like worlds in my mind. But in tournaments, like, there's a lot of like stuff out, you know, things out there to just work on your no limit, but you got to get out there and play.
Right.
A lot of people forget that. Maybe you can study your way to the top now in no limit. This has been like debated. Can you take an academic approach and just play like lot? Can you do it and just become great? I'm not sure. I think you got to play.
Yeah, I think that's one big thing the learning
To
process
play.
talks
To
about,
find
is you
games
actually
you
have to
can
put
afford and-
you put your study in action.
Or
You
gotta-
actually, right?
you know,
Yeah,
you're not just going to study the 3-pointer. You got to bang.
gotta shoot the shots.
Yeah, air ball, bang, bang, called it.
I feel like most
Yeah.
players are more on the playing side and no study. They just play and well, it makes sense. though.
But you can study while you play if you're asking the right questions
Right.
and generating true answers. But it's you know, I mean, the better you get, playing can be productive. I mean, that's a big part of improving. You work stuff out, and you know, you can't necessarily be a computer while you play, but you can touch base with things that are true. Kind of take it from there, I guess. It's you know.
Being mindful, right? Not only being
Yeah.
mindful of yourself,
Yeah.
or other people around you and what they're doing,
Yeah.
but of yourself and what you're doing and why you're doing it and why you think that. And if you don't have a good answer to the question you're asking yourself,
Right.
that's a question that you need to go then pursue the answer to. And luckily right now, everyone's trying to give away all the answers they possibly can to you. So the answers are out there. It's a matter of you finding an answer and then putting that answer into action, deciding if that is a good answer or not. So people say, well, what if I consume bad content? Well, you'll find out quick. I feel like a lot of times is you'll put it in action and say, okay, well,
Yeah.
didn't work for me very well, so let me go out there and find something else. And you don't just read one thing, you aggregate the content and you find what the commonalities are amongst the strategies, and then
Well said.
you take the commonalities and put those into play. It's like,
Very well put. Yeah.
I mean, learning anything out there, if you're trying to, you can study the learning process and you understand how to learn, you can understand how to get a better answer to a problem by asking a better question, and you get a better question by having more knowledge of what exactly it is you're doing in a lot of ways, and really being mindful of what exactly it is you don't get, and asking people that are more knowledgeable and listening to people that are on podcasts and all these things like that. It's, yeah, I mean, kind of first part Nick said was you get what you put into it. So if you put in a lot of effort, you're going to get that back. And if you say, why am I doing poorly, but you're spending absolutely no time thinking about getting better, there's your answer right there. And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of people. And
Sure.
they overestimate how much effort they're really putting in because they go play 4 hours and they say, well, I played 4 hours. Well, it takes more than that outside of that too.
But were you being sure you're right about shit that you're wrong about for those 4 hours, and then like just calling it a day and you're back tomorrow? Maybe. You know, but it's a tough game, man. Just stay at it.
I love
Find
it.
games you could beat and go for it.
Right, and that's another thing, right? You just game select the right games, and
Yeah,
it's
no,
like-
I mean, I'm happy. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, game selection's a big thing though, man. I think that people are like, they understand that it makes sense because it's so talked about, but at the same time they don't really understand exactly why a certain game or certain seat matters in terms of how that affects their win rate or not.
But I really did not have a lot of that for a long time, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, me
so
too.
it's
Yeah.
the right, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's I think that's how you get to that high level, is you
I
battle
think
against
so.
these better
So it's
players.
like,
Yeah.
if you want to scrap with and when you play with players that are really good, you get to see a lot of the shit that they're doing, which is great. Can you afford to do that or take that plunge? It depends. I don't know, but that's true. But it's good to challenge yourself. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, this whole world is so big. I don't know what people's goals are.
Right. That's a good question, right? Like, I always wonder, what are their goals? Because
Yeah.
to me and you, we probably see things one way, and And, we want to play higher stakes, or we want to do that. We want to make the most money we can. We want to be the best we can be.
Seaver coming through on the button, and OA sipping tea, fucking feeling himself. And it's like, what do I do with this one? And now what do we do with that one? I got, here's Chris Kruk and No Limit just fucking breathing down my neck. And it's like, okay, wait, hang on a second. And you just from there.
Keeps you up at night, huh?
Yeah. Oh,
fuck,
yeah.
Man. Jesus.
When I'm playing.
Dreaming of Scott Seaver, huh?
Scotty's
sipping tea?
I've had specific hand dreams. I discussed that with sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course. Have to.
Shout out to DPAR28. What's up, brother?
What up, bro? 28.
Poppy. Love you, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Corbin, is Nick coming to the Derby City Classic 2020? I want to buy him dinner, talk some pool gambling.
I would love that. I mean, I'm always wanting to come, and then for the last few years, I haven't been. Maybe I would put it at about 15%, Corbin. And if I'm there, hit me up. Come say what's up, and I'll take you up on that dinner. But
there you go.
About 15%.
Boom. You got a date, buddy. There
Yeah.
you go. People ask you out and hang out a lot, or drinks, or dinners, and
Nobody.
Nobody?
Ever. Zero. No. What do you mean? Like people from like?
People.
No, I don't know. No.
We want to come up to you when you're rolling through from the bathroom to Bobby's room or something like that.
Sometimes what's up? I like the how you doing? Maybe a little, but no, we're not going out to dinner. I mean, no, nobody's taking me out. No, but Corbin will be the first. Yeah, down at the Derby City. Yeah. Not really a thing. Hey, yeah.
I get that all the time, so I'm like, oh, maybe you get it too. I don't know. They message y'all.
No.
You're not Instagram, right?
I feel like I give off that kind of like stay away.
Unapproachable?
Which I don't mean to do, but I just feel like I do a little. No, I'm not on the gram. I have an account, but I haven't gotten it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better stuff anyway.
Yeah.
See if we got anything else here. Give me one podcast guest recommendation. Somebody you think I should have on the podcast?
Me?
Yeah, give me somebody. I think it'd be good. Collecting thoughts. I'm aggregating right now.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. There's so many. I mean,
I know. Who comes to mind that maybe is like under the radar a little bit? That's kind of an interesting person.
I mean, what's tough? There's so many poker players, and it's like we do kind of recite. There's the ones who everybody knows. Everyone's sort of familiar with what they have to say, which is great. It's good to be like a part of that whole thing. But then there's dudes like no one's ever heard from who are like, they have their own story and their own path. So there's both. It's cool to get new people. And
those are the guys I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Finding more and talking more with those people who have a great story to tell.
Sure.
That I think they would like to tell the story and that other people would enjoy. And obviously some people don't want to share their stories, but I think a lot of people out there are interested in talking about what they've done with their life and being passionate about it. It's just people might not know to ask them, sort of thing like that. And you don't know until you reach out to them and say like, hey, do you want to come on here, have a chat, 100%. Whatever, sort of thing like that. Yeah. So those are kind of things I'm thinking about more lately.
Put that out there and then maybe give a name. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, do that investigative work, Poppy. Get the right, get the right people on.
We're top podcast in the world in 5 years. I don't know what that looks like or not. And obviously I'm gonna have to go a little bit outside the poker space to get to that point. But I want to be.
Rogan has a real stranglehold on the podcast world, right? Not a stranglehold, but he's got like real power, right? Every topic under the sun, here's Rogan. It's crazy.
That's something he does, right? He does that very well. He basically, he'll talk about any popular culture topic and then create a clip around that, and then you tune in to watch what Joe Rogan.
There's
and then
some humility there. He's right a lot of the time, and he's funny.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice, combination of things. Yeah. Definitely. I thought about that a lot. Like, what makes him in his position, kind of thing like that. What is he doing? This guy, every day. Here he is. It's amazingly prolific. Like, it's an amazing thing. Kind of like, Yeah, I think that he's very open-minded in a lot of ways, but he also has strong opinions and strong beliefs. Right. He's willing to change those strong opinions and beliefs, and I think he's also kind of like a man's man in a lot of ways. Where
he's got that going too.
Right, if you're like a man out there in the world or a younger kid, that's someone you feel like you can look up to because this guy has knowledge and has wisdom, and he has conversations with people who have different knowledge and wisdom in other areas.
Great guests too.
Yeah, very good guests. Yeah, a wide variety, comedians. Fighters, and then I'll have a Harvard scientist and Jordan Peterson and all these kind of things like that. So it's I think about that a lot.
Rehab now, Peterson,
I saw something like that too. Yeah, he's definitely helped. Obviously controversial figure out there as well too in terms of people like him. Some people don't like him.
I think he's cool. I think
I do too. I like him.
Yeah, I'm not like super I think a lot of the stuff he says though has been like you know, at first I had a reaction where I was like, I don't think I like this guy. But then it's like, a lot of the stuff he says, though, this might be true. Right. It might make sense. I support transgender people being who you are, you know, everything. But at the same time, I know, like, he was talking about governmental, like, conformance and stuff, like, different kind of, like, ideas that I never really thought about it like that. This guy has some points. He's interesting. Check him out if you don't know who he is.
Right.
You know?
I think most
Formulate your own opinion.
Most people say if you listen to somebody like Jordan Peterson, that means you automatically think exactly like Jordan Peterson does. Yeah, whereas I sort of see it like I'm just gaining alternative viewpoints on situations, and I can enjoy listening to him, but it doesn't mean that's who I am or what I agree with or what I believe to be true. It's just that I
notice too how like happy people were that he was like a lot of people were like celebrating that he's going to rehab for Pitt, like his wife is sick. It's like, I don't know, but everybody feeling some kind of way. I don't know.
Yeah. Sulfur Y in the chat says, ask him about a John Jay story.
Oh, John Jay. Wow.
John Jay story. Yeah.
First of all, John Jay made it to the league. So no disrespect to John Jay. I mean, he was a baseball player, or still is. I don't even know. I don't know what he's doing.
Cardinals, I believe, right?
Yeah, Cardinals, Phillies, I think. But was he on the Cards when this happened? Probably, because I was at a Philly game, and this guy was like, "Hey John, come over here. Let me get a picture for the kids. Let me get a pic for the kids." And he came trotting over, and the guy said, "Fuck out of here, you fucking scrub." It was just like, damn. Jesus, cold. Like, those Philadelphia sports fans are fucking animals. Like,
he was on the Phillies?
No, I think he was on the Cards. That's what I'm saying. I believe he was a visiting like situation.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Or maybe he was on the Phillies and slumping. Like, I don't, because I'm not a Phillies fan. Like, I was there with John Hennigan. It was Phillies. No, but the story was. Yeah, that's what happened, man. Get out of here, you fucking scrub. Brutal. I was at a Phillies game where Ryan Howard went down running to first. Mm-hmm. He hit like a ground out. He was slumping, and he tore his Achilles. And they just, stay down, you fucking jerk. Oh, you zero. Fuck you. It's like, dude, this guy's like wincing in pain. Like, he didn't get there. Yeah, Philly. You guys need to relax.
I mean, not surprised, right? You see how Twitter is. I mean, I love it. I guess it's Twitter in real life in some ways there. So
somewhat, yeah, that's true.
Like Philly's Twitter in real life.
They're passionate about their sports, though. You know, it's all right.
They're into it.
Yeah.
This is like about poker. Go to a tournament, and fucking guy loses a hand, and crowd starts berating him.
That would be great. Also, I mean, maybe not great, but some element of that passion, that's real. You don't berate a guy when he tears his Achilles, but you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Also, like heads-up matches in poker where they beef a little bit.
That. I love it.
Play. If it could ever work, it's a cool like idea. It probably doesn't work, but it's not. I mean, you know.
Yeah, people seem to really like they don't like the drama, but they also love the drama. They love I love a fucking battle. Like
of course.
Two guys, two girls, a guy and a girl going heads up. Going at it, like a little trash talk. It is like
heads up match.
People are like, oh my, like no, don't try. Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you're not flowing like that, or the best beefs are for real. They actually don't like each other. Or they've gotten under each other's skin. So if they're doing some fake beef, people are gonna see through it. But a little, you know.
I kind of go both ways on it because I don't necessarily want to perpetuate it because I know I'm in a position to be able to do that in the community by asking certain questions and
certain dudes beef with each other too.
But I just like it when it's like when they do it and then I can say, oh, what's going on with that? I don't want to be like
what's the matter with these people? Like why are they publicly feuding? And like, let's watch. Yeah.
Right. Well, like one example, like I had Doug on the podcast a few months ago and he called out this guy Johnny Vibes. Right. I'm like. I feel like I I don't want to be the one to fucking help like create these sort of things like that.
I think I'm familiar enough with it, but let me see if I understand. Johnny Vibe streams poker content?
No, he does poker vlogs. So he creates his own poker vlogs, and he sometimes will play on live streams on Live at the Bike and stuff like that.
Okay, but so a poker vlog is like, here I am navigating through the poker world.
Going to the casino, playing.
They're filming themselves and providing kind of their experience.
Exactly, yeah.
And then Doug started beefing with him. Why?
He thought he was fake positive. He thought he was promoting fake positivity.
That he was fakely positive was truly the inception of the beef?
I believe that was. I think that's why, yeah.
I can see both sides. I like Doug. I don't know.
Doug's always mixing it up, man. He's always getting in the streets.
But that's tough. Yeah, okay.
Putting himself out there a little bit.
Yeah, he's in the streets.
He's willing to take a stance.
Yeah.
Good for business for him. He knows
Business
that.
is booming, man. You know.
That's true. He likes a little battle, likes a little debate kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's a Doug Polk. So, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, man. About hour 50 here. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Nick's gonna take off here.
I'm out of here.
We're gonna be back tomorrow. I'm gonna post that podcast at what time is it? 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna post it. Fader Holes, and then Wednesday back with Scott Seaver at 3 p.m. Eastern time as well. Phil Ivey investigation video, one of my favorite videos I'm gonna do for
Free
Thursday.
Phil. Give this man his money.
Give that man
it
his
was their cards.
I know.
Never ever cheat in poker. That shit is disgusting. But when the casino provides the cards and you get to look at them and know what's going on, give that man his money. Let Phil breathe.
Exactly. And there's still a chance he might get it, be able to keep it from Borgata. So we're going to see what happens with that. That's going to be on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday videos as well, too. That's it, guys. Take care. Nick, thanks for coming on, brother.
Of course.
Always appreciate the conversation, guys. Peace out. That's it. Adios. I'm out of here.